One day I realized I was thinking about the late 90s, the early 2000s, when we had more human connections. The latest model of a phone probably was a Motorola flip phone. I wanted to feel as I did back in those days when we played video games on a split screen or played with Pokemon cards together. Back then we could only imagine what the world and the technology would be like. What we imagined was something from science fiction movies and video games such as Blade Runner and Ghost in the Shell. You might probably be asking, what does this have to do with the X100? Well, this is the part where I get to it. Welcome back everybody to a new video. My name is Timo Varagas. If that's a mouthful, you can just call me Tim. Now, the Fujifilm X100 was released back in 2011. It has a 12 megapixel APS-C sensor and a 35mm full frame equivalent lens. Fixed lens, that is. Now, the design is something that merges the past times of my childhood with the future times of today. As the design merges past and future, that's what the camera does to the pictures. It's sort of like this unique look that no other camera has yet done to my pictures. It's sort of like a window to those past times of your childhood, but also a window to your imagination of that science fictionish, cyberpunkish world like Blade Runner and Ghost in the Shell. The X100 is the first generation camera of a line of cameras where the X100V is the latest camera. Now, because of trends, the X100V right now is out of stock everywhere, and you're probably looking at the older generations of that lineup and thinking, should you get one? And that's why you're here, thinking that if you should get one. These pictures that I'm showing you right now should speak for themselves. Now, the 12MP sensor might be intimidating at first and make you prejudge the camera and the image before taking a picture with it. Now, you have to compose the picture and take the picture within the camera as you see fit. There isn't really much room to crop there, but trust me, it's worth it. The images that this camera produces are stunning. Now, what I like to use this camera for is street photography. And as a street photographer, my go-to lens has always been the 85mm. That is a 65mm on a cropped sensor. Now, the 35mm took some while to getting used to, and mainly because the 35 is really wide and you really have to get close to your subject to take a picture. In street photography, I really like to take pictures of people, and getting close to random people usually is intimidating. So luckily, this camera, first of all, is small, so it's not really that noticeable. And usually when you're taking pictures with it, you just come out as a tourist. Now, second of all, it has a silent shutter. It just makes this really quiet noise like. That's it. That's the sound it makes. Now, in this future world that we're living in, we have a lot of fast things. We have fast cameras, we have fast phones, fast computers. Everything is fast. Even you're probably fast, faster than I am. That said, this camera is really slow. That means you have to take a step back in being fast and just compose, feel the moment, see what's happening, and take the shot. That is what this camera is about. Now, that said, that the camera is slow, I wouldn't take this for a photo shoot. I wouldn't take this for a model shoot. I would take pictures of a friend playing, modeling, so that's what it's perfect for. I would take it to family events, street photography, like I said already, and I would take pictures to social media with it, but nothing else. It is a camera that is good for a daily basis, for travel, stuff like that, just to take memories, but it's not a professionally used camera. The size tells it. The size already tells it. Now, some of the settings are old. The focus is old. It doesn't have a touch screen. It is old. It's even missing some of the film simulations, but it does have Astia, it does have monochrome, so there's that, and I like using those, and they're pretty much enough for this camera. You don't need all the other film simulations if you're taking pictures, and you can take raw plus fine, so that means that when you're getting that raw footage, you can just download a preset that is the other film simulations and slap it on. So there you go. You got those film simulations and presets pretty much. Now the shutter speed goes only to 4,000 of a second. The ISO only goes to 6400, so it's not great in low light. I have taken some low light pictures with it, and it does produce a lot of grain. Now, the grain that Fujifilm cameras produce is awesome. I think it's fine to have grain in Fujifilm pictures because it's easy to get rid of. Even though it's there, it still looks like a vintage photo. It looks good. There's nothing wrong with grain when you're taking a photo with a Fujifilm camera. Even though the X100V is out of stock, the older generations, especially the first generation X100, is pretty cheap right now. I got mine for 350 bucks. What I got with it was a leather case, a leather strap, a wrist strap, and that's it. For 350 bucks. Pretty solid deal, I'd say. So straight on to my opinion, it is worth it. You probably knew it before you even opened up the video. You probably knew it before you watched the video to the end. It is worth it. All those things, if you can look past it, that it is slow, it is old, it still takes stunning pictures. Why wouldn't you want the first generation X100? That's it. I'll be seeing you on the next one.